And we're ready to go. So the first thing, we have the minutes from last time, from August 14th, so. any
I move we
comments?
accept.
I'll second.
All right, and all those in favor of acceptance? All four of us. Good thing we brought Doug on. We have a quorum. And the next thing, we'll let I'll take over.
I don't have too many things. I know that Andrew was out of his surgery. Everything went well. He
Oh,
went
that's
back to
right.
surgery.
Yes,
good.
Today.
Yes,
He's-
good.
He was
Yeah.
texting me, but I think he's a little loopy. He says he's not, but I'm like, that's his grandmother's taking care. Anyway, we've sent the three options for pricing for finishing looking at, basically, I think he went over these with you. The first option was to frame insulate the perimeter walls, do rough end. The second one was to allocate interior funds to do the bell tower. And then the third one was to insulate and finish all the four walls of the hall. He is sending those off, or has sent those off to Nickerson O'Day for their pricing exercise. On the handrail, I just went out and did some study. So it's only 27 inches above grade, which means that if it's less than 30, you don't need guardrails. So that means we can do anything we want. Otherwise, we do the 4-inch sphere rule would apply where so you couldn't have any opening bigger than 4 inches. So we could either repair or recreate the railing that's there, which could save some money as well.
Exactly.
Or we could take it off completely. We don't need a railing. Now, for the stairs, I would probably do handrails, but yeah, it's still 30 inches. So I think we should either keep what's there, but we don't have to raise it up to.
Okay,
To
that
42
was the
inches.
thing, that was the discussion, that if we had to raise it and then the pattern has been the pattern
Yeah.
forever,
Right,
so we thought we wanted.
So
to-
we can either recreate or repair the pattern that's there and keep it as it is. So.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a guardrail.
That,
Yeah.
and that's same pattern. of-
Yes.
Guardrail there currently.
That's wooden.
Wooden.
The guard is wood. I think at
Yeah.
the stairs, we should probably put just a simple
Something.
handrail because we don't have a handrail.
Yeah.
And we talked.
We had
a
already
little
done a
bit about-
design for that.
Yeah, talked a little bit about that and about whether we were gonna do that
Right.
grand stand all the way
Yeah.
across or only do the stairs over to the outside of the pillars.
Yeah, so the two columns.
And that way we would do, Andrew thought that the railing, having a railing
Right.
to have it the width of the doors
Right,
would kind of be.
right. We need it to be 5 feet wide. So
and
that
the
could go,
Doors are exactly 5 feet
right, so that
wide.
could go right up to,
Yeah.
to the doors and have just a simple handrail on both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll say what I've always hated that they did down at Tumston. Because they've got this historic building, but then they did just tubular steel. And I hate that handrail that is at Tumston. It's ugly. It shouldn't be there. It's not,
Is it painted black or is it?
it's silver.
Oh,
it's
it's
just-
stainless.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's
Well, but that's what we were
Oh.
thinking of because it kind of goes away, but I don't want to think about it anymore after those comments.
real granite on a, and
Yeah.
that building's from 1900. I mean, I would want it to look like it's somehow belongs there, not.
So we could look at doing. I don't know if I would complete that pattern.
Yeah.
But we could do a handrail that's maybe a wooden handrail that had something like a thin metal support on a wooden handrail or something like that.
Well, I don't want it to be overboard. I just don't.
No, I'm
want it
thinking,
to-
I want to keep it simple,
Yeah.
but simple could be just a simple stainless steel
Exactly.
rail, which sounds like you've seen and don't care for.
Well, but
And
it's
that's
on top of granite. I just,
Yeah.
I would,
Well-
have you ever noticed that handrail
Yeah.
at Tumston? It's-
These are-
ugh.
These are gonna basically, you're gonna have the stairs coming up and then it's
Yeah.
open on each side.
Yes.
So we're basically looking at a couple of handrails for people to grab when they go
Yes.
up.
Exactly.
So,
And you're saying some like wrought iron, metal?
I'm thinking just very simple metal posts to
Yes.
hold up
Yeah.
a wooden rail. So it's not so modern.
Yes,
Even if yeah, the railing could be just have a varnish or something on it, or we could find something that maybe looks like wood, but paint the supports either white or black.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll draw that one up. On our page.
Do you have like fiberglass handrail?
We'll look and see. They are some, but they start to look like wood and they look like plastic.
Yeah.
So I think we could, just for those rails, they're not gonna get too abused, but and then we'll keep and or repair the existing rail that's there.
Perfect.
Okay, what else is on my list? I think everything else is going on. I assume you've all seen the masonry work and the windows and everything, but I think the
Yeah.
windows look really nice.
Yeah.
The masonry is the mason's doing a great job.
Oh, yeah.
That end panel is
Yeah.
really nice. It's coming back together.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And, you know, when we were up on Thursday, he talked about the fact that on the other side, he's probably gonna end up using new brick over there
Right.
because what's left of our pile
Yeah,
is kind of questionable.
right, but on the other side. it'll be
And it
fine.
won't matter because it is not out there in your face when you park or
And
see it.
even still, the Portland Old Port blend, which is sort of the brick that got used
Mm-hmm.
throughout Maine, is the same color.
Yeah,
So we can use that and it won't look. I mean, you can get a more modern looking brick, but the
Exactly.
Old Port blend has the range and color
Yeah.
that you're seeing there.
yeah.
So I think that would be the best thing to use. So I'll talk to the mason.
And we kind of talked about what to do with that pile and, you know, a couple ideas is whether or not we can use what's left for landscaping, you know, either lining a walkway or doing something with that, or if that's not possible when we talk to Lark, anyway, put them aside and save them, and whether or
Yeah.
not any weird pieces we could, you know, even sell as bricks, you know,
Right.
as a keepsake, you know, so.
As far as the work that Mark, landscape architects that you want them to work on, we need to get a proposal from them.
Yeah, I sent him a link of the,
Okay, I can follow up with them.
what's that called? You know, those maps that they're doing so that he could look at all the,
GIS.
yes,
Yeah,
GIS, yes.
Oh, good, yeah.
I sent him a link of our GIS that's still in the works that he could get onto.
Okay,
And I sent that to him, but I didn't hear anything, and you
he
have,
was out last week, I think, so
Yeah.
Mike, Rogers.
Yeah.
We're working with him on a number of projects. He
Okay.
hasn't given a proposal.
I have not seen anything from him.
I'll shake his cage.
But I'll, you know, summertime's weird that,
Yeah.
you know, I hate after a couple of weeks, you know, has he been away? Has he been busy somewhere else, you know? So,
We work with them a lot, so I can.
yeah, just ask him how we're looking at that.
Okay.
For,
And I think everything else, the meeting that you guys had last Thursday morning solved a lot of site issues, so. If there's anything from there we need to go through as far as the roof, the cupola, the work that they're planning.
we talked about the bell tower and about
Right.
the dome.
Yeah.
And about the fact that he got a quote that was unbelievable for copper, you know,
Right.
unbelievably good.
Right, exactly,
$3,500
Right.
to do copper, 3,500 to do
Yeah.
copper
Yeah.
and reuse the.
So there didn't miss a zero.
No,
You know.
If they did, I'd sign it now.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's what Steve Burton thought too,
Yeah.
and Steve Burton said, this is an amazing quote,
Yeah.
and they're being really good to us knowing the project.
Great,
Because Steve is mentioning what's going on in the project to everybody he can. I just sent him the letter that he could include if he needed it.
Right.
And, but Hannell Brothers said $3,500 to do copper
yeah,
on top of the dome. And so Darren, the guy
Yeah.
running the construction, has been remaking any of the
Yeah.
pieces of the wood dome
that we're missing.
piece that were missing or rotted out of pressure treated.
Yeah.
And so I think we're gonna come reuse the original
Yeah.
wood and have copper.
I think that's the right
I
solution.
think it is.
We've talked about a lot of
Yeah.
other ones,
Yeah.
hoping to save money, but with
Yeah.
that kind of pricing, I think let's,
I know,
copper is gonna be the right material to use up there.
And-
It'll match the tower across the
exactly.
street, which is also
Yeah.
copper.
And I
Um,
think people will.
Yeah,
react
and it'll be
to that.
shiny when you start it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually it'll dull, and then in 4 years it'll be green.
And we can send Lori up there with some copy.
Yeah, okay, whatever, yeah.
Exactly.
What, my mother had copper bottom pans.
Yeah.
We used the,
I still-
yeah,
Revere
They're great.
bands,
Yeah.
they take a lot of
Revere,
help.
that's right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we've reached out to our structural engineer about making sure we have the right reinforcing to hold everything up, so that we're working on that.
Yeah, and Steve Brown was asking a lot of questions about how they would do that copper and if they'd bring it down and use it for flashing all the way
Yeah.
around and over and different things like that. And the only other thing they mentioned to me was the fact that the directionals of the weather vane are so bad that they think they're going to have to, have them fabricated out of,
Probably
something
get someone
else,
to plasma cut that.
Yeah, exactly.
And those can be out of steel that
Yeah,
can be then
exactly.
painted whatever color. We can use that as a mark. I know Andrew brought back the B as well.
Yes, they took that down.
To try to
Yeah.
find, we found some in stainless steel that were nice, but or aluminum, sorry. But I think we want to keep the color,
The
the
color,
red. We can get them
Yeah.
painted that color.
yeah,
So we're looking into that.
yeah,
So
yeah, that was.
The weather vane's not that old, is it? I mean, it's not.
It's old.
yeah, it's just been exposed to weather, so
Yeah.
but I think we could, it's down, it's in the,
It's in the directional, they worked on the base part of it. And that they got back pretty good cleaning that up. But, I think the directional is the big issue, so.
Nickerson O'Day must know someone who does plasma cutting.
Yeah, I think they had somebody
Yeah,
in the plan for that, but
okay,
the actual pointer, I think they got cleaned up pretty well.
yeah, it's the
But
north
it's
south,
the directionals
yeah,
are pretty bad,
Mm.
so. But, and then that, I think is like almost like a lightning rod piece or something, that middle piece of
right, the spire,
the
And
little
has a
circle,
sphere on it.
yeah. But this piece, they got back pretty well,
Okay.
and, they were cleaning this up, and they also fabricated the bottom piece, out of pressure treated.
yeah,
That piece has been fabricated out of pressure treated that it sits on,
Yeah.
that attaches, so,
and then they can
That-
cover all that with the copper flash.
Mm.
yeah, so.
All right, well, I'll connect with Nickerson O'Day and see what's going on with the directionals. They have a source to cut.
Yeah,
those.
we talked about it briefly, but then we were talking about what we thought we could do with $120,000.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well, even just to understand the plan so that when something does move forward, that.
Yeah.
So that could also be put on back after,
exactly.
get the copper, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that was what I had. We talked about the handrail. I have reviewed sorry, I'm moving ahead. Wait. I think that's all I have in my notes for architecture. I don't know if there's any other questions or comments from anyone.
I don't think so. I just am so amazed at, how wonderful that looks, and now they've taken the bricks back out to put
Yeah.
that window back in,
Right.
so.
Yeah,
That looks great. And on the other side where the door came out under the hole
yeah,
is a broken piece of granite. And I told Darren, when they take that broken piece of granite out of there, to put it aside, and we'll figure out where we can use it in landscaping or something like that, because,
yeah.
you
A couple windows came in the wrong size.
Yes, exactly, the
They're being-
basement windows,
They're
yeah,
being remade.
yeah,
So we've talked to Marvin about that. So
yeah,
that's happening.
yeah.
And that's on them. That was their problem, so that won't cost more, just a little time.
On Marvin,
Yeah,
or
Marvin, yeah,
Marvin made him rock.
yeah, now and then that happens. They work it
Well,
into their
they
price, to be
also-
honest.
Yeah, when they came in, they only had those big windows, only had one strap holding them, so everything was wonky.
Wow.
As opposed to strapping everything,
Yeah.
holding in the exterior,
sash.
the
Yeah.
sash is
Yeah,
tight. So Darren was really worried about what was gonna happen and how they'd look being put in, but
Yeah.
they ended up going in and they just shimmed everything.
yeah,
And they straightened out and were fine, but
yeah.
you know, it was,
I think coming from Minnesota, they'd be packaged really
Right.
well, you know?
Well, they've been using, like everyone, they've been having shipping issues.
yes,
And
Yeah.
they've been using some third-party shippers.
Yes.
And then this is what happens, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Their lead times are much better. It used to be 22 to 24 weeks. I think they're at 8 to 10 now, so
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
so bad.
yeah, and luckily they were basement windows that were
right.
the wrong size.
Yeah, it's nice to have the big ones up so people can see that.
Yeah, those look amazing, so.
And inside, have you been inside with the windows?
Not since they've been
Yeah.
in. I only,
I'm sure the
when
lights
they
will
had
be
the
great.
two front ones.
Yeah.
In last week when I was at that.
Okay. I have signed Nickerson O'Day's
Okay,
payment. Everything looks in order.
perfect.
They seem to, they haven't started billing us for some of the things like windows and stuff yet, but I'm sure that'll be coming with the
Yeah.
next application, so. Just pass, I'll just take this to. Some walking.
Oh.
Need to say
Thank you.
that.
I didn't get my steps
Yeah.
finished today, yet, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go for a walk when I get home.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Do you have any questions, Steve?
I
Or,
just have questions that tied to the grants. Some of the applications are one specific for good ballpark numbers of what we're going to do. So my question, you've got a lot of the outside work
yeah,
completed, so we're moving on the inside now.
yeah.
And do you have costs for what you're gonna do for, are you doing sheet rock on the inside?
Yeah, that's what we're trying,
Yeah.
we've got the options that we put together to get pricing for, so we're working with Nickerson today on that.
You've got those prices yet or?
We don't have
That's week.
We'll do our best.
Yeah,
When do you need them by?
well, I have two applications and I want to get out before October 1st.
Yeah.
And I don't have that part written,
Yeah,
so, because I don't know.
Okay.
exactly.
So just give me specifics on sheet rock and any electrical wiring stuff that you're gonna have done.
I want to call Nickerson O'Day, I will.
Rock, any woodwork. And you've already got the price on the doors and
Yeah.
you can just put that all together and give me a breakdown. That way I can submit that with the grant application. We have specifics.
Yeah.
So everything else I can
Is,
wing it.
is the grant application for a specific amount of money or is it?
Well, that's my next question. What are we going to need?
I'm gonna go with.
If they.
1 million.
1 million. Well, they're gonna sign what we're asking this things for.
Right,
So if I could get the cost of that, I can submit for that amount.
okay,
And see what you have before I send it out for a balance.
Yeah.
Make some stuff up along the way.
Yeah,
But I do have a grant application kind of ahead of myself. I have to talk to the guy, but it's rural development. It's a federal program
Mhm.
and they have grants. And they also have loans. Of course,
Okay.
I'm just one of my grants. I don't
Yes.
like consider
Yeah.
loans.
exactly.
And I haven't heard back from the office in Augusta. They don't seem to return my emails, which is really very frustrating. So
yeah.
I'll call them, but
Is it a state program or a federal?
it's a federal program, yeah, Department of Agriculture.
Oh, okay,
But it's for community centers, all kinds of areas, but
Yeah,
community centers and all the other stuff that we want to do on the outside, so.
sounds like
Yeah.
a great space.
But anyway, we can get a price on landscaping and that, but I can submit that anytime.
Okay.
So there's no real deadline.
yeah,
And the other one is just the LWCF, and that has to be in by the spring.
Okay.
So. I will actually, good
Yeah.
shape. I'm excited about the rural development one,
mm,
because
Yeah.
they have big pots of money.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I think this project really
Fits right into
fits right into a lot of things. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
a historic building at the town center,
Yeah.
it's a small community. I mean, it really ticks a lot of boxes, I think, of what they're trying to do.
Small community is under 50,000. for
Yeah.
that, guys.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Oh, yes.
definitely meet
Yeah.
there.
Goodness.
Yeah,
We fit.
yeah,
So, that's what I have. I just need estimates of costs, so I can.
All right.
The ones, Main Community Foundation has very specific, I think you looked at that, some of
Mhm.
those.
Yeah.
And, or they ask a lot of specific questions.
Yeah.
They want to know exactly what you're doing with it.
yeah,
So, and some of them are small amounts, but.
Well, and you know, I mean, if this would help, I mean, Highmore could maybe conduct some, programs there in that building, which would be
Well, that's what I'm
agricultural.
saying, yeah.
yeah,
And the Cocknoagan Fairgrounds could hold some educational meetings there.
yeah.
Historical Society.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, a lot
Are
of
you moving some of your
agriculture.
records over there when it's all done? Some
Pardon?
historical records, are they going into that
Yeah,
building?
there's an
Yeah.
archive space.
There is
There's
an
an
archive,
archive
yeah,
space for-
because I think, I did say that,
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
I'm sure I was right.
But,
Yeah.
even Paul Peters is having a meeting. I think it's gonna be at the Packard Activity Center.
Oh,
But it's about the, fruit growers. He's having a meeting for small fruit growers in the town of Monmouth. So there are
Realize-
opportunities for agriculture.
Exactly.
And of course, at Packard, you really don't have a way to do audio visual or any of
No,
that
you're right.
stuff there, and
Yeah.
we're gonna,
Have that.
have that.
That's right.
So,
Right, I think I told you in my email that I'm giving you the contact. The
Yes,
contact
yeah.
person, and I'm just putting my name underneath there with my phone number as the
Yes.
grant writer, so
Yeah,
I've written a grant, they had questions about that. You wouldn't be
Exactly.
able to answer them, so.
Yeah.
But I can do that.
yeah, and you got
my response
I
with the
did.
phone number,
Already on
the
there,
numbers I
already on the
have,
application.
so, and the tax ID number of the
Yeah.
town and all that fun stuff, so.
But even Highmore doesn't have a room like that.
No.
An educational room. So,
yeah,
yeah, no, they don't.
yeah,
When they have a big thing, they use, one of the sheds.
yeah, yeah.
So there's so much opportunity.
People.
I know, I
Yeah,
know.
why is this? Why,
I
I
know.
was just noticing that today and I'm like,
Send to the table, we're all
Yeah.
left
I
handed.
can't do that.
We can.
I know.
So-
Nancy used to.
We've got 3 and 3.
Doug, Lori and I,
There you go.
and then you three are all lefties over
I'm just gonna
there.
take a moment and say, I'm glad that we all made it through without having anyone change us.
Yes.
No, right, yeah, so there's 3 right-handed people and 3 left-handed people, so we're segregated.
Oh, excuse me? Nancy was, yeah.
Nancy was
10% of the population. So we're breaking the
Was Mrs. Ludwig
Yes.
left-handed?
Oh, don't you
Really?
remember seeing, she'd write and of course,
smudge.
oh, the smudge here.
I don't remember.
She had beautiful
that.
handwriting, though. Beautiful
I
handwriting.
don't remember. I remember brushing her hair.
You submitted an application, a grant application for the King Foundation already, and you got
Yes,
rejected.
and got rejected. So in the new year, we can submit again.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Libra, we can submit again.
Do they give you any feedback as to why? They don't.
No,
The Kings is February, right? Two
um,
dates, or is it, it's here 4/15.
I think,
I thought
Yeah.
it was April, I thought it was April.
yes,
no?
exactly.
Because we
So-
tried to, when they were putting in the swings down at the beach, we submitted one hoping to have them help us get one for a child who needed like the come out of a wheelchair to be
Yeah,
put into a
exactly.
handicapped one, and they denied us that.
So you never know. I
Right.
mean,
You know, it's too bad they don't give you feedback. 'Cause they-
Right, because like what were we missing?
Right.
What,
Or is it something that you just can't do? so
right, you
don't
just don't
bother,
do it, right?
yeah,
You know, it's like.
but I know that we're, meet the parameters with them, but it's just a matter of, I think that in the more they see us come back, I think they'll,
Yeah, it all depends on how you write it. I've seen them turn down well-written grant requests.
Yeah.
And then you reapply and you change the wording a
Yeah.
little bit, take a little bit, and they come up with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Usually do.
Steve, Doug and I can help you with the archives, if you want the King grant for that,
Okay.
because we can tell you what the museum has, the
Okay.
kinds of materials that would go in there.
All I have.
okay. Perfect.
um, And I can say that whenever I email Paul or Andrew, they answer me when I have questions or need some little thing. So
Good.
feel free to email Paul or
Yeah,
Andrew.
okay.
They definitely will work on whatever
Probably won't for a few days.
for a few days until he.
He also thinks the railings are important. He said for us.
So, because I've emailed Paul numerous times to get information to pass along and, you know, what can we do for 5,000 and what can we do for 10? And he's been great giving me lists for things like that, so.
Gotta help you raise the money.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Part of the gig.
You don't want to be meeting with us for the next.
I enjoy meeting with you guys.
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
No, I sincerely do.
So,
Okay.
all right. Anything else that we need to go over before we go on? No? All right, so we're good, Paul. We'll go on to the invoices. And Dawn's not here to decipher her spreadsheet, but you can see she does it so well. I think even I can figure it out. So what we paid to date and what's remaining and what we've got for donations and so what's the balance? So we've got just under, you know, the donations just under 120,000, but now Lori gave me another.
You have that money already, 125?
No, 60 in donations and then remaining what's left to go into phase 2 is 57,831. So we've got about 120,000 to go into phase 2. So,
With my check, I put in what I'd like. for the whole
okay,
thing.
all right. And they're keeping that somewhere, but I may take a photocopy of it.
Please do.
If I haven't seen it, so, but Lori Walker's been pretty good about making sure we have it all.
And I made the check out to the town of Monmouth,
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
with a little,
Do not, yeah, don't
Yeah.
make any checks to me. Ed Phillips would have a heyday.
oh my lord.
All right,
You're done with me.
we're good.
All right.
Go for your walk.
The rest of my steps, I gotta get 68 more calories.
Oh, geez. Thank you, have a good
Thank you.
evening.
Great to see all of you.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, so what we're approving for Nickerson and OJ is $62,391.51. And then it's just theirs. And then for all designs is 1,540. So that's what we have.
Do we need to do them separately? Do you want to
We
vote
can do
separately?
them together. Since there's nothing we really need to discuss or hold back or anything from, so we can take motions to approve them both together.
I move that we approve Hall Design and Nickerson O'Days bills together.
I second it.
Okay, all those in favor of approving both of those invoices? All right. So select board reports, I don't have anything exciting. I think that when people come up here to our meeting, they're seeing the progress now and people are seeing stuff happening, where it's going, where it's moving, so.
I think now you really can see something.
The windows in.
The
Yes.
windows are
Big
amazing.
difference.
Right,
And the hole is gone.
yes.
Yeah.
Which,
So,
that was a huge
yes,
issue.
yeah.
So
So
I think it's great.
I think that's made a big difference for people seeing that, so, but nobody's really sent too much or asked me anything, and I just fly under the radar. So, and Steve, do you have anything else?
No, that's it. I've got,
Okay.
How many more windows do we have?
So let me think about this. yours, my mother's,
Johnson.
Johnson. And I think we've sold 5, which means we have 3 more left.
Okay, because Mary Lou and Sarah,
Yes,
she came to speak to you at the.
yes.
And was very interested. Have you
Yes.
heard
I
anything more from
haven't,
her?
not that I know,
Okay.
but I don't know, have a way to reach out to her. I'm sure.
She didn't leave any
She didn't
information?
leave anything, but she took my letter.
Okay,
So,
because she was very interested.
yes, yeah,
And
do that for her
so,
sister, yeah.
okay,
yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I always can follow up, but,
Okay. no, she was
I
very
think-
interested, so I think she will.
she took the letter, and, yeah, George Greenwood took the letter because he said to me, I lost it and I misplaced it in my office when I moved my office to my house, so.
I can reach out to him.
Yeah, and,
I just don't have. I don't have anything for her, but I will
yeah,
look into that.
And the person I texted you about, I mean, that person was telling me about his parents, huh,
yes.
you know, and I said, you need to do it, so.
Yeah, I talked to Guy at National Night Out. And we talked at length about, his
Piper?
mother
Yeah.
and father,
Yes.
yeah. And different things. We talked about a lot of stuff. He had so much of, just about everything, all kinds of stuff.
I don't know,
Yeah.
I mean, I think,
He's a good guy.
yeah,
He is a very,
Yeah,
the day that, because they dedicated a wall, to them, to his parents. And, yeah,
A wall.
at the memorial school.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
it was, he's quite an interesting character.
Yeah, there you go.
so anyways, I just thought, worth a shot.
oh, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I talked to him then, but if I see him down at Apple Fest, I'll reach out to him again. So I'll be at Apple Fest on the 30th and, so hopefully we'll get some more, okays and good stuff through that. And, I'm trying to figure out, I'm gonna talk to Justin again because so many people don't carry cash or their checkbooks, or I have no way of taking a credit card for the throws or anything, so.
The gift shop can do that. If you wanted to somehow work with Orba through the gift
Yeah.
shop, maybe she could just, get the money for you, then just give you the money.
So one of the things that I'm gonna make sure it's okay to do is if people have Venmo, because a lot of people pay each other through Venmo.
Yeah.
And I don't want Venmo to come to me, so and the town doesn't have anything like that, but Jeff has a Venmo account, so if they use Jeff's Venmo account and then Jeff wrote a check to the town, that's a way that we could do that.
Yeah.
So I want to just talk to Justin about that and make sure he's okay with that, using it that way, because there's so many,
I don't understand the Venmo thing.
well, essentially, it's
I like
just,
to check.
It's like an
Yeah.
Apple.
Yeah.
exactly, it's just, people transferring money from their bank accounts to your bank account, and they don't see the information,
other
it's
thing
just
is-
there.
Like Leanne doesn't even go to the bank to deposit her checks. She takes
I
a
do
picture
too.
and sends it that
I
way.
do too.
Well, anyways,
I do.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
It's a little unnerving that you.
Oh, I
Yes,
know.
that information is out there somewhere.
Well, it all is out there anyway,
Yeah.
regardless,
Yeah, I know, but
that's
I
what I
have to
always
write
used to
that
say
little
to my
check.
father.
Warnings all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and maybe Orba would keep some of those blankets over at the gift shop and then just give you all the money.
Yeah.
yeah,
Cause she's doing that
yeah.
for people, so.
Yeah, so I'll talk to her and see if she's interested in doing that,
Yeah.
so, yeah. So,
Have Justin set up a specific account and people write to donations. And that way it stays separate from the operating.
well, it does, there is a separate account for it, but the whole thing is when people wanna pay me in not a conventional way. Cause last year I had a
4%.
Yeah, in Venmo, you don't have that. I mean, the money is the money, because it's just going from
I
one
wouldn't
bank
check.
account to another, so. I mean, I use it all the time doing things for my business and,
Look at my bank account on a regular basis to make
Oh,
sure the money's
gosh,
still
yes.
there.
oh, yeah.
I
Like
think
to wake
Todd
up
checks,
some
yeah,
morning and check
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it's all gonna be going.
yeah,
Oh,
Todd, I
no.
think checks almost every day.
I do too.
He'll log on and.
It is unnerving.
Anyway,
So that's the next thing that I've got going is Apple Fest, so hopefully, you know, with the new plans and the website and things like that, people
One
will
of the things
see
you
it.
might
follow
consider
that.
for the alumni, another way of making a donation is if we get from the landscaping, that you're gonna have some kind of walkway.
Yeah,
And you-
it had the,
and you
the
can do
brick,
bricks.
yeah.
URI did that, University of Rhode Island,
Mhm.
and it's amazing. Every
Kent
class,
Kent Hill did that
yeah,
when they did their new
It's a pretty
thing.
good
and
fundraiser, I
It
guess.
was. Yeah.
something that you might consider.
I think we
Yeah.
talked about it when they were doing the memorial school, when they were in, but it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So. Okay, so
Anyway.
when I talk to George Greenwood, I'm gonna tell him at this point, we have 3 large windows
Yeah,
left.
3 large windows unless if he doesn't want a window, if he just wants to make a wholesale.
Right, so I will, and I'll try to figure out how to get a hold of
How much for the windows that you have left each?
2,000 each for the big ones,
2,000 for the big ones, which there's 3 left.
Yeah.
All of the
little ones.
$1,500 ones are available, which there are also 6 of those.
Mhm.
and then one of the $1,000 windows is available, because there were 2 of those, so.
I'll try to figure out how to get a hold of her. I'll see if we have anyone who took, I'll ask Roberta if she has the information from when she called to say she was coming.
Yeah.
Does she have anything? And I'll reach out to her, because she came right up to me and was talking about it and was
She
so,
talked to me about her
yeah.
sister at like,
Yeah.
yeah. Cause my Darlene had her in school. She was gone, I think, by the time I rolled around
Yeah.
in school, so.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to go over before we look at dates? I'll get,
how can it be that we're saying October?
I know, that's not
Oh.
possible.
I'll just look and see what we've got scheduled
It's my computer wakes up.
here. For anything that might be happening in
Well, the 9th is Indigenous People Day. I said that correctly.
Very good.
I am proud of myself. So that wouldn't work.
I have both Columbus Day and Indigenous. You still meet on that day. If anybody's not up for it,
It's okay with me.
Yeah, I could,
I'm not gonna go anywhere.
better for me that day than the 16th, because 16th, Todd's 70th birthday. This was allowed to make a cake.
acknowledge it anyway, right?
Or maybe I'll do soft pudding, now that we're getting older.
Exactly.
And if we did the 9th, that would be the week before the select board meeting, so that the statements could go to accounts payable, so the bills can go out. So,
If for some reason, Dawn isn't good on the 9th, that I could do any day that week if we wanted to do Tuesday,
okay,
so that it can get onto the warrants.
and good. So, yeah, because this room is open the 10th or the 11th,
Okay.
so as well, so. So what's the consensus? Do we want
Good
to
night.
stick with Monday?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Unless
Are
it's-
you okay with that?
Unless it's bad for Dawn.
Okay. And I'll run it by Dawn, and then if Monday's not good, we can look
The
at,
9th.
Yeah,
yep, the
Yep.
9th.
October 9th.
Or the 10th if Monday's not good.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so. Any public to comment? That's it then.
I move that we adjourn.
Right?
I second it.
All those in favor? Yay.
This is wonderful that you're writing.
I know.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.